Good morning, everybody. It is the 25th, Thursday, 25th of February, and we're here celebrating one really incredible educator, Janette, out in Washington Collins. She's a fifth grade teacher. We're talking today all about best practices for using Discovery Education in personalized playlists. Janette is a big Canvas fan, a massive Discovery Education fan, and we've got some other special guests. So Cynthia, welcome from Discovery Education. Paula, who is one of the innovative learning specialists out at Broward. We are celebrating all day long. We're streaming 7 times today with these incredible educators. Again, celebrating Digital Learning Day. If you're on Twitter, on Facebook, use hashtag DLDay and let us know what you're thinking about these incredible presentations. With that, I know you don't want to hear me talk. You've made it very clear over the past many months. So let's go ahead and kick things off with the A-lister, and that's Janette. So, Janette, we want to just talk a little bit about you really quickly. So, 29, almost 39 years in education. She
29.
likes cooking. She likes cooking. She is dressed to the nines today, and I'm going to ask her all about that because she has got some cool stuff that's going on with her class this month. Janette, tell me about the cool, beautiful colors that you're highlighting today.
First of all, good morning to everybody. Thank you so much. See a lot of friends and family on. So in honor of Black History Month, I am wearing my special attire honoring Black History Month. We're honoring our principal, who's a finalist for Principal of the Year, Mrs. Heather Hedman Devon. I want to thank my husband, Major. He's the one who picked this out for me today. So thank you, honey. But yes, 29 years and really excited about the work that we are doing with students here in Broward County.
Awesome. She does have her 5th grade class right next door. So if you hear any eruptions shortly, you know what they are. Everybody's fine and safe. We've got educators that are in there taking care of them. But again, huge shout out to Janette and to all of Broward County. I want to turn a little bit of time over to Cynthia, our friend from Discovery Education, to talk about what we're going to cover over the next 20 minutes.
Great. Thank you so much, Mark. Excited to be here. Thank you so much for the time. So for those of you who, maybe you're familiar with Discovery Education, maybe you've never used Discovery Education. In either case, I think you're definitely in for a treat today with Janette. So Discovery Education, we work with 4.5 million educators, 45 million students, across 140 countries in the world. So there are 3 specific things that I would say are highlights for what we do as we partner with districts and educators worldwide. So we've been working with Broward for over a decade now. It's probably well more than that. And the 3 things that we hear over and over that our partners, our districts really love about Discovery Education, one is the high quality content that we provide. So sometimes people think Discovery Education is, we're just videos and we're just science. At Discovery Education, we offer resources that are aligned to standards across all content areas for all grade levels K through 12. The second thing that I would say is one of the things that we constantly hear is that we take those resources and we pair them with really engaging instructional strategies to make it easy for teachers. And the third is that we align that content seamlessly with the ecosystem of a school district. So with that, it's kind of a nice segue into what we're talking about today, because we integrate with Canvas for Broward. And one of the things that Janette is going to talk about is how does she use our resources with the Canvas platform to really bring these resources alive for her students. So with that, I'm going to turn it over back to Mark and Janette, and the star of the show, Janette. Really, really excited to hear what you're going to share today.
Awesome. So Janette, let's start things. I want to hear all about big congrats and shout out to all of you incredible educators who are tuning in. We've been just blown away since this pandemic hit. The extra work you're having to put in and the fact that you just keep on going. Congrats and thank you. Janette, let's start with, how did the school year start for you? How has it gone?
It's gone really well, partly because Innovative Learning Department, Dr. Daryl Diamond, Lori Stickler, Paula, and the entire team has given us a lot of opportunities for training, particularly with Canvas and some of the other platforms. I've been a Canvas user now for 4.5 years. And so the migration, thanks to the pandemic, was a very smooth transition for me. And then thanks to Discovery Education and some of the workshops provided, particularly what you're about to see with the digital playlist, it was very easy to migrate into Canvas. And I started the year virtual. So due to the pandemic and what was put in place here in Broward County Schools, I started the year first at home. And so it was very easy for me to create lessons, really have that time to bond with my students virtually. And then in October, came back physically on campus. It started very light and it has picked up quite well. And so now I am hybrid. And that too has worked out well because I'm able to, again, use the strategies and implement some cool lessons. And most of all, have my playlist ready for students. I can print it out for those who are in person, or I can put it into the announcements for my students. And I also email my parents. So all parties that are involved, my students and my parents, can kind of take a look and see what we're doing on a daily schedule, which you can see on the left, the week ahead, which is on the right. And then if you could go to the fourth slide, if you don't mind, that's where the real work begins. And that is the digital playlist, personalized playlist, particularly for students. I teach reading, language arts, and social studies. And of course, technology. So a lot of times we have we're rotating classes. I do teach with a wonderful educator. Want to give a shout out to Mr. Samuel Allison, my teaching partner. He teaches math and science. So we have a day A and a day B. And on the day A, my students are with me. And on day B, Mr. Allison's homeroom is with me. And so we use the playlist to kind of track student progress with their reading, with their writing, with their social studies, and with their grammar skills. And so what Discovery Education has done is empowered an educator like me. Yes, I've been teaching in this district 28 years and then 1 year in Dade County, but yet you can never stop learning, you can never stop growing. And so Discovery Education gives you that opportunity to keep growing and learning through SOS, Spotlight on Strategies. And so I always look for new tricks to spice up my reading. And thanks to SOS, I've been able to do that. So Discovery Education has given me that. And so what you're looking at right now is an actual SOS strategy called 3 Truths and 1 Lie on the right. So it's incorporated into my playlist for reading. So I could be doing a benchmark for informational text where students have to identify the main idea and support it with evidence. 4th and 5th graders need to be able to do that and do that with fidelity. And that's a skill across, I think, not just Florida, not just Broward. I think it's just a skill they have to learn. And so SOS gave me that tool. I looked at it, we shared it with my students, and then we put it into practice. 3 truths and 1 lie. And so that allowed my students to dig really deep into what they're reading. And we did an activity where they had to list their 3 truths and 1 lie and support with evidence.
It's awesome. Talk to me a little bit, Janette. I love that idea of SOS. And I'm interested in talking about what were some of the challenges that you dealt with in the first semester? How did you use Discovery Education and Canvas to overcome said challenges?
You know, the only real challenge was, believe it or not, something that we couldn't control. And that's internet outages, actually. I experienced them in my neighborhood here throughout Broward County. There were some experiences where literally whole communities were without power. And so that's where the flexibility of the personalized playlist comes, because let's say the student is without power for the whole day. It happened to me. I literally sat in my car and taught in the parking lot of another high school. I taught in the parking lot of Starbucks because power went out. And yet students have sometimes 3 weeks. That's where you give them that personalized flexibility. So if internet is not working today, or if student A is dealing with something personal tomorrow, you have an extended amount of time to work through the playlist. For example, the one that you're looking at right now, we started February 2nd, and it's not due until tomorrow. And so, again, we have to be mindful and sensitive in this season that, yes, there are deadlines and students do need to be held accountable. Yet, we also have to take in mind Canvas gives us that flexibility that we can set the module, set the announcement, set the assignment, and give that flexibility, because student A may be dealing with the power outage and student B may have a personal situation going on at home.
And Janette, I want to take a second and just honor you and all of the other teachers out there. As we hear stories, I get goosebumps when I hear about these stories of, driving over to another high school because I needed the internet access that they had there, heading to a Starbucks. And we know that all of you educators that are tuning in, many of you have similar stories. Luckily, we get to be with Janette today and honor her a little bit, and we'll honor her even more if you tune in with us at 3 p.m. today, everyone. Just so everyone is aware, we want to say thank you. We want to say thank you to Discovery Education, who has been such an incredible partner to Canvas and to Broward Schools, helping to just do incredible things for our students. We're so thankful to our friends at Broward who are pushing the envelope on so many things and are creating really incredible educational experiences. And Janette, there is a lot of love out there for you right now. You may see some of these comments like Miss Washington is amazing, best teacher we have ever had. Miss Washington is setting the bar high this AM, so flexible in what she's describing. So many educators are going above and beyond. Congratulations and thank you. Really quickly, everyone, Paula and Cynthia, I am going to put you on the spot because that's what I do. I get to do this. Paula and Cynthia, starting with Paula, what have you been most impressed with as far as what Janette has done with using Discovery Education and Canvas this year?
So Janette has been amazing. I met her, it's almost 2 years ago now, at an Ed Elements webinar we had a platform where we were doing lighthouse schools in Broward County. So one of the things we were pushing were these personalized playlists. And I remember that day specifically. Her and I kind of sat in the back, and I'm like, you're teaching 5th grade. I taught 5th grade for 20 years. So her and I bonded instantly. And I was like, you know what, let me talk to you about these playlists. And while we're at it, let me show you Discovery Ed, because I am the Discovery Ed go-to person for Broward County. So I work real close with Cynthia, and I'm the one pushing Discovery Ed webinars throughout Broward County. And she and I sat in the back room, and I showed her a couple of things with Discovery Ed. And sure enough, the next time I visited her school, she was like, come with me. You have to come up to my classroom. We walked right up to her classroom, and on the wall, she had all these tweets, which is one of the SOS strategies that Discovery Ed has. And she put it into action within a week later. So she's just one of those educators that goes above and beyond. So when I was asked to pick a teacher in Broward County that could really showcase DE and Canvas, it was a no-brainer. Janette, awesome job.
Awesome. Congrats, Janette. Let's go over to Cynthia. Cynthia, any thoughts from you on what Janette and Broward specifically have done with Discovery Ed this year? Oh, you're on mute, Cynthia.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's amazing, Janette, that you've jumped in, right? So we we have all of these great resources, but what it requires is an educator like you who is willing to jump in, try new things. It's okay to, quote unquote, fail. We're asking our students to take chances all the time. And so as educators, I think it's an amazing thing that you're modeling that. And when you're talking about those spotlight on strategies, we've got, few hundred of those, you're finding ones that resonate and you're trying them, you're seeing how they work. And so I would say that's the biggest thing. I'm just in awe of you jumping in and being willing to try all of these different strategies with these tools and technology for the benefit of your students.
And that's the thing. I'm glad you said that. There were a couple of times it just didn't work for me. And literally, I fell flat on my face like, this isn't working. But then when I found the ones that worked for me, like 3 Truths and 1 Lie, like Tweet, it just worked. And we just took it. And I'm also part of a group called Dig Deeper. And that's exactly what SOS strategies allow you to do. It allows you to dig deeper into your learning. So shout out to the Dig Deeper team, because I took those SOS strategies and really examined the work, the curriculum, and what I could do to be better.
I love this idea, Janette and Cynthia, of try, and fail fast. That's going to happen. And it's happened to most of us as we've gone through the past year plus of a pandemic. Like, that just happens. But your ability, Janette, to say, okay, I'm going to mess up and I'm going to stand right back up and I'm going to go try something else. And to be able to find these SOSs that have really worked for you and your students is fantastic. Talk to me, Janette, a little bit about, we've come this far. How are you planning to continue this momentum that you've built with your school as we continue to get through the pandemic and as we continue to move through face-to-face instruction?
The dialogue between the Innovative Learning Department and myself and so many other educators is part of it. Being transparent with my parents. I see many of them on the call. Shout out to Team Ali Wash. I just feel like you have to be transparent. You have to just continue. This is where we're at. This is where I would like your child to be by the end of the year. Let's work together. Let's collaborate. I do have parent Zooms with my parents so that we can have that discussion, talking to my students one by one, both virtual, because I don't want my virtual students to feel like, okay, what about my in-person students? Everybody matters. Every student matters. Every parent matters. I'm a parent of a 7th grader, and so it's important to let my students know, Mr. Allison as well, that my students, they matter, and we will do what it takes to get them to the next level, which for this year's group, of course, is getting them ready for middle school. And so again, letting them know that Discovery Education and Canvas aren't going anywhere. It's going to follow them when they get to middle school. And even telling my daughter, it's going to follow you when you leave your middle school and you get ready for high school. Canvas will be there. Discovery Education will be there. And most importantly, these great teachers, it's not just myself, it's great teachers all over Broward County, all over Florida, all over the state of Georgia. I see my sister from Atlanta, Georgia. So many educators. We're just giving and being there for our students despite a pandemic. That's what this is about. And so the great news is Canvas has been there for us. Discovery Education continues. I've used Discovery for 10 years myself. So it's going to just continue to enhance myself as an educator and also as a parent, because I just sometimes like watching just because.
That's awesome. Everyone, big shout out to what's happening over in Broward County. We're going to be with them all day today. 6 more live streams starting in another 40 minutes is the next one. Big thanks to Discovery Education. Big thanks to Janette. What an incredible group of educators. As we close out, everybody, thank you for all that you're doing in education. Janette, big props to you, and everybody have a great day. We'll be talking soon.
Thank you all.